Welcome back to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert, and I'm here with brother Will Townsley, and we're talking, boy, all things music and life and documentaries and just the work we do together. I wanted to talk about, the specific musical influence, starting with Boys of Summer. I think James Horner was the first name that came to mind. Does that sound right as the first composer we kind of leaned on? Because he was composer for The Natural, correct?
Right. You and
Yeah.
I had that discussion, being and we talked about baseball and being a definite thread throughout this journey. And so I started listening to everything James Horner I could
Yeah.
get my hands on and just try to soak up as much of that as I could. And I think it actually, you know, in our experiences, especially with the opening, that I felt like it kind of captured that as much as we could. So
Yeah, there's that. And of course, I mean, we're both the obvious fans of like a John Williams. The idea was back to what you said, the emotion. How do we get across? Because this is a relatively small scale film, Boys of Summer. It's a father and a son in a car, right? It doesn't have this grand scope or feel. I think of when the music really, when it broke, I do remember this. It's when we went to the Field of Dreams, which is thankfully halfway through. It's right at the heart of the film, right? It's the reason that we went on the journey to begin with, really, because I rewatched Field of Dreams, crying my eyes out, say, Dad, we got to do this. And we actually arrive at the Field of Dreams. Oh my God, this movie is a real place, and you can have a real catch on the field, right? It's surreal, right? And so I think that's the moment, and I can still think back. I can hear your score um, in that moment to capture the emotion of, here I am calling my dad over, and the ball game's happening behind us. I'm putting my arm around him, going, "We made it. We're at the Field of Dreams." And then it shows us, there, me throwing a pitch to my dad, him hitting it, us having a catch out in right field, and the music soaring, and dad's talking to the owner of the place, Don Lansing. We're sitting on the porch. It's overwhelming, and you nailed it. And again, it was what I'm so thankful to you for is you didn't hesitate to say, I'm leaning into James Horner. This is esque. This is of that ilk, and you brought it all the way.
well, I think Stravinsky once said, "Good composers borrow, great composers steal."
Yeah.
I didn't steal outright, but I definitely was influenced by again, we're talking about the emotion and his ability to create that emotion. So I did pay attention to things like instrumentation, and just from that, I was able to transfer it to other scenes as well, as far as creating intimacy, especially when it was just you, you and your dad, and or conversations between you two. And sometimes it was just as simple as a string bed. Sometimes it was just as simple as a single instrument. Um, and I think it's real easy for musicians to get caught up in their art, so to
Mhm.
speak, and instead of paying attention to what's really going on.
Yeah.
And I think these great composers, yeah, I think they got into their art a little bit, but I think their whole intention was to create emotion that their audiences could connect to, which
Yeah.
is why we still listen to Mozart today and symphonies. So, yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, back to the exploration of emotion, and why we do any of this. It's hopefully to raise our spirits, to make us embrace life, to be thankful that we can feel something. I mean, why do we do any of these things? To relate to each other, to be in awe. That's my word of the year, by the way, awe. There's a great book by a UC Berkeley psychology professor named Dr. Keltner, and it's this whole exploration of that, and I was blown away by that. And I think it just transcends art, it transcends environment, it transcends emotion, certainly love, is the experience of awe. It's like, where you can look outside, or you can look into your lover's eyes, or look at your pet, or look at a plant growing, or go on a jog, or whatever it is, listen to a song, see a movie. To experience awe is that gratitude of being alive. And
Absolutely.
that's, we
Yeah,
need more of that.
there's so much to be said for just mindfulness,
Hmm.
um, and just being aware. I've tried to make myself more aware of mindfulness and being, and just trying to be more observant of the things around us. And I think it's actually helped me in my art. It's definitely made me a better songwriter, arranger, composer, um, but just being aware. And not only that, but I don't know if they go hand in hand. One lends itself to the other, but my awareness of, especially in empathy, has been elevated dramatically just from saying, "Hey, what is it like to walk in that person's shoes?" And that there's the old adage: every day you meet someone and you have no idea what they're going through. And um, you know, with our working relationship, and I can't even say I know everything you're going through, but I know one part of you that's going through. And so, again, not to put it, associate it with our work or anything, but it definitely has played a part in it. Just being mindful of one of the things you're going through. Um,
Yeah.
and, everybody feels emotion. Everyone has emotions. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody has a mother and father, even if they're not present. Everybody can honest, and they have relationships, and these are things we should be cognizant of every day.
Yeah, everybody has emotions. Not everybody likes to feel them. There's a lot of blocking of emotions going on,
A
and
lot
the perversions of that lead us to a different place. But
of it
that's
out.
another deal. All right, look, do you have time for one more? Can I get you for one more?
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
good. Let's come on back. This is great. Thanks so much, Will.